Welcome to Cars Yeah, show number 339.
The moment you can do something that brings in an income associated with cars, it's magical.
This is Cars Yeah, where you'll enjoy interviews with inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Mark Green is here to provide you with a fuel injection of automotive inspiration. So get in, sit down, buckle up, and get ready for a wild ride here on Cars Yeah.
Do you know the best way to protect your vehicle, both the exterior and interior, is with a car cover? I've been using Covercraft car covers since 1975. It's a fast, easy, and inexpensive way to keep your vehicle looking new. 2015 marks Covercraft's 50th anniversary. They've manufactured premium quality exterior and interior covers here in the United States with a reputation for durability and design. They're the world's largest manufacturer of custom patterned vehicle covers that are crafted to fit, with over 80,000 patterns and growing. You can choose from dozens of fabric options and accessories, all designed and carefully sewn for your special vehicle. Made in the USA, Covercraft is the right choice. I've protected my special rides with their covers for over 40 years, and you should too. Learn more today at covercraft.com. Hello, automotive enthusiasts. I am revved up and so excited to introduce today's very special guest, John Borchelt. John, are you buckled up and ready for a fun ride?
Yes, Mark, I'm buckled up, ready to go, and hopefully your editing software is as well, as I do a lot of sales and I love to talk.
I'm really happy to have you here. We're going to have a nice conversation, I think. John Borchelt is the founder and president of MAcarbon. MAcarbon specializes in the manufacturing of carbon fiber interior components for high-end and exotic automobiles. MAcarbon has the most extensive carbon product line for Ferrari, Porsche, and Lamborghini. They're headquartered in San Francisco Bay, and their production workshops are in Canada and Belgium. Their website is an example of cutting-edge design with configurators that allow their customers to visualize their vehicle's design while choosing how to customize their special cars. So, John, I've told our listeners just a little bit about you. Would you take a moment and share a little bit more about your business and, of course, your passion for automobiles?
Sure, Mark. Well, first of all, I've been an enthusiast for many years and got the passion for cars from my father. And about 15 years ago or so, had the opportunity to take that through some baby steps of take that passion and turn it into a business and something that I was able to work full time at, and which is fairly rare in the aftermarket world, it seems like.
Sure.
And founded MAcarbon back in 2003, and so began by importing some carbon pieces from Japan, and transitioned over the next few years to producing stuff in-house and broadening the products to the point now, as you mentioned, we do have some of the broadest product lines for very high-end cars, such as Ferraris, Lamborghini, Porsche, McLaren, etc. But we've done a lot of stuff for Toyotas and other crazy projects. But we make everything ourselves and really try to focus on making the customer happy and enjoy their customization project. That's really what we see our job here. Maybe not as much to make a special steering wheel for somebody's Lamborghini, but to manage a project and make something that makes the process enjoyable, because that's really what a lot of the customers are. They're having fun doing something. The end result, it's the whole package, not just the end result that's important for them.
What stood out for me is I ran into your guys at I believe it was the Works reunion down during Car Week in Monterey. And when I was looking at the products that you guys are manufacturing, I just went, wow, this is really nice quality, because in my former career, I bought a lot of carbon fiber things that we resold to people, not so much car parts, but they were carbon fiber things for accessory items like cell phone holders and things like that. And I'll tell you, a lot of the carbon fiber that's out there is not that great. It looks kind of cool from it's a 10-footer, as they say in the car world, but
yes,
you guys are at a whole nother extreme level, and that's why, you're welcome. That's why I really wanted to have you on the show and talk a little bit more about what you're doing, but we're also going to have some fun and talk about cars. So as we continue on your journey, I always like to start by asking my guests for a success quote. Okay. It's some kind of saying that's been instrumental in forming your life and your success, and it's a great way to get the inspirational tires turning here on Cars Yeah. So, John, take the wheel.
All right. Well, I got to say, I'm not really a big quote guy and not really a big introspective analysis person. So I don't have, I did look at some of Mark's, all those great interviews you've done, and saw amazing quotes. Went, wow, that resonates and makes a lot of sense. So I think I've got some homework there. But what I did, I kind of started thinking about when I'm talking to customers every day on the phone, or chatting, or all the other different methods, what do I tell them, and what do we talk here? And really, it's kind of the same thing. And the first one is we don't ship unless it's right. And so there's nothing worse than somebody, we call it the open box test, that when you open the box, you got to be like, wow, that's really cool. Wow, I can show this to my wife. I just spent this money and she won't make fun of me, or that's really, that's the gold standard is, what's the spouse say. But also the other thing I say, pardon my French a little bit, but we have to be more anal than the customer. And we still occasionally get somebody that's even pickier than we are here at MAcarbon. But if we can really hold ourselves to that high standard, it really, it just makes such a better customer experience, and frankly, less stress for us. We're all familiar with, we get something and we know that they sent it to us knowing that it wasn't right.
Yeah.
You always wonder, kind of something's dumped on you. Now you've got to deal with it. And all of our customers are so busy, and we're not selling inexpensive parts that go on inexpensive cars. Any kind of hang up or hassle or issue turns into it's just another headache, and you can't have your passion. You don't want your passion to be a headache. You want it to be fun and enjoyable. And so those two are really what we absolutely do our best ever do. We try every day to really put that into what goes out the door. And I think I think that applies to most situations in life. So
sure,
I just need somebody really smart and well known to say that, and then I can subscribe to those even more.
Well, there's a great quote by a guy who was pretty darn smart that I think fits your philosophy, your mantra there at MAcarbon, and that was Sir Henry Royce, who said, "Make nothing nearly good enough." His whole philosophy was strive to be perfect.
Yes.
And I think that's exactly what you're trying to say.
Yeah. My wife handles our sales to Japan because she's Japanese and speaks Japanese. And I got an email one time where a customer sent me this photo, and I'm like, wow, thank you for that photo. That's awesome. Well, then my wife read the actual email, and it said, John, thank you for the part. It looks nice. But this piece is slightly off from this piece. And I looked back at the photo, I'm like, this looks great. And then I realized, wow, he's right. Like, there was the subtlest 2-degree, 3-degree orientation difference. And I was like, wow, again, we found somebody that was even, had that, I wouldn't say standard, but that slightly more, he had noticed that. And I went, you know what, we've never really, that's not been one of the items on the checklist. So we made that change to make sure now, okay, those two pieces, they've got to be, this is the exact orientation. Otherwise, it's a scrap piece. So.
The customer will always let you know.
Yeah.
At least you hope he will, because those customers that don't let you know are the worst.
Yeah, and actually, well, the other thing is if, going back to that Royce, if you do your best and somebody has an issue with it, then you honestly say, hey, you're right, and I'm going to fix it. and rather than be like slinking away and saying, "Oh yeah, I know it's
A picky guy.
yeah, exactly. It really is. So.
Yeah. Would you share a story with us that instigated your passion for cars? You talk about your dad being into cars, and that was maybe part of the catalyst that really got you going into cars. But is there a pivotal moment in your life you remember when you really knew you were a car guy?
Yeah, when I was growing up, actually, I was like many young people, I was an airplane person, knew every airplane there was, and was like, I'm going to be a Air Force fighter pilot. And I just, that was my passion in my life. And in fifth grade or sixth grade, somewhere back then, I had an eye exam, and we found that not only was one of my eyes not going to be 20/20, it was not going to be 20/20 no matter what we did.
Mm-hmm.
And so my flight dreams, let's just say they crashed from 30,000 feet.
Yeah.
And but the next week, my dad had always been a car guy. He had 356s and 911s in the 60s, 3.0 CS BMWs in the 70s,
Cool.
and Alphas and Spiders and things like that. The next weekend, after I'd gotten that news, he just happened to be going out to test drive, to go look at something. Yeah, they say, "Hey, John, you want to come look?" And always before, I just like, "Oh, no, it's I'm building my model plane."
Right.
And said, "Hey, let's go look at this car." And I said, "Sure, let's do it." And it was a 1980 Euro Market 928 silver with claimed aluminum fenders and lightweight and all this and that. And I grew up in Santa Cruz, California, which is where the famous Bruce Canepa is located.
Oh, yeah.
So we're in the back hills. My dad test driving this car, and he hit the gas pedal, and everything blurs. And I'm like, "Ooh, this is cool." So
almost as cool as the jet fighter.
Yeah, and so the death, you might say, of the airplane pilot dream resurrected into, hey, I can still drive a car, and they're neat, and I've been a car guy ever since.
Cool, I love it. Great story.
Yeah, that was really the turning point. So
very nice.
Yes.
What I'd love to do now is take a look at some of the challenges you faced, or one in particular, even a great failure that you faced along the way in your career. But the most important part of this has to do with how did you overcome that particular situation, and what did you learn from it?
Let's see. I was trying to think back what my absolute biggest failure has been, and before I started MAcarbon, before I actually went into the car stuff, I was a computer science. I had graduated, I was a computer science major, was in consulting with the big six accounting firms. Was doing was doing well there, and enjoyed it. And then I was independent, contracting actually to those types of firms as they implemented stuff. And I remember the biggest failure I think I ever had was we were implementing a system for a Fortune 500 company, and I had to fly to Atlanta. We did some testing, which involved email alerts from our system. We had to rush out of there to get back on the airplane, fly back to California. I forgot to turn off or clean the system of these alerts. I come in on Monday morning to find out that the test system we had done had literally melted the email servers, the CPUs of the email servers for this Fortune 500, for a division of a Fortune 500 company.
Oh, no.
Wiping out email service for 3 days.
Ouch.
For a company with probably 20,000 people on this one email system.
Oh.
I literally came home, laid on my couch, and said,
"It's
bye-bye, bye-bye couch, bye-bye house, bye-bye this and that."
Oh.
And what I learned, I pulled myself together. Oh my God, what have I done? Got off the couch and went into the office the next day. And what I really learned from that is that the customer project manager said, "Okay, we had a bit of a problem this weekend, and here's what we're going to do to fix it, and we're going to move forward." And sure enough, new CPUs were put in the mail servers. The system was brought back up. We made sure that our test system did not send any more email, and we kept moving.
Yeah.
So that two things. One, I can apply that to today. Hey, okay, we missed a day on shipping a steering wheel for a car. It kind of puts things a little bit into perspective. But the main thing is that there'll always be tomorrow. And you can't sit there and put your head in your hands and cry about it. You got to figure out, okay, how do we move forward? How do we fix it? Especially with a little company, that's something you have to do every day. There's always a roadblock. There's always a problem. You can't just sit there and go, woe is me. You have to figure it out, figure out the solution, and move forward.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That was probably the biggest challenge I could remember.
Yeah. Well, we all face these things, and you're right, exactly. It's just keep moving forward, keep putting one foot in front of the other, no matter what, and find a way to get through it. Let's shift gears here and go to the other end of the spectrum. I like to call this an aha moment in your career. It's that time when the headlights came on and kind of illuminated your way for this new idea or a new direction you had, and tell us the steps that you took to turn your aha moment into your success.
So I'll start at the very beginning. Again, I was a computer guy. I had a 308 Quattro Valve Ferrari was my hobby car. And so I saw that everybody was putting little fender shields on their car. And one day I was in Japan with my wife, and I was looking at car magazines. You can't read them because I can't read Japanese. But I saw an ad for fender shields, and the price was a quarter the price they were here in the U.S. Mm-hmm. And so I said, Yoko, call this guy, and let's order some. And I proceeded for the next, this is like 98, for the next 2 years to make and sell fender shields on Friday nights, and sent those out to, I don't know how many people, actually worldwide. I mean, it was actually pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I bet you would have done much better if I just concentrated on computers and spent that time doing that. But, a car guy, the moment you can do something that brings in an income associated with cars, or with your true passion, it's just
magical.
It's magical, and you really could make more doing something else, but it's like a multiplier. So every dollar you make doing something with cars or your passion, it's like five drudgery dollars, you might say.
Yeah, exactly.
So, that was kind of the aha, and then we moved. I saw somebody selling carbon from Japan, and again, using my Japanese, a little bit of my Japanese expertise, started importing their parts, and then from there, it just kind of it just grew and grew, and so to the point now where we have multiple locations in the world, decent name recognition, and proceeding along. So we're always pushing,
and absolutely wonderful products too. And you dropped some great golden nuggets here for those listeners here on Cars Yeah who are entrepreneurial or would love to be doing something like you or any of my past 300 plus guests, and that is working in their field of passion. You said it earlier, is when you start to be able to create some kind of an income, every one of those dollars kind of a compound, if you will, as far as enjoyment. I remember the first sponsor I had here at Cars Yeah, when I got that first sponsor check in the mail, I almost cried in the driveway because I'm like, wow, somebody actually likes me. I'm doing something good here. So yeah, it's a wonderful moment.
For the enthusiast, there is that multiplier. For the spouse, that's actually a divider. So
the importance of having a very strong team member on your team.
Very supportive.
Yeah. I think we're probably both fortunate there. My wife, we just celebrated 31 years of being married, and she's always supported my passion for cars. So great to have that team
I'm
member.
In the same boat, and doesn't a day go by where I'm not thankful.
There you go. We got in those plugs. Good for us.
Yes.
How about proudest career moment, if the spouses are even listening to the show? Well, I'm sure they are, of course. How about proudest career moment? Is there one in particular that stands out for you?
I've got a couple. I'll do them quick and pick. You can take your pick. One, we do get some cool customers, and One, I spent 3 days in Graham Rahal's garage in Indianapolis. We did his 458 Ferrari car that he had at the time. We installed, or I installed an interior. And I got to say, Graham was the coolest guy ever. And we spent, we were working like, he came in and let me go. And finally, he's a true car guy as well. And finally, I think the curiosity slash, it just got to him, and he had to come out and help. And him and I were working on his car at 1 a.m. That was, to me, that was really cool. It was like super neat. And I've done a lot with Tony Kanaan over the years as well, and we did some stuff at his place in Miami. That was fun.
Cool.
And then last two, I thought, we have a lot of international customers, and I have a very strong interest in international, and just always enjoy talking to people from anywhere. And one customer in Singapore, a lot of customers say, hey, if you're ever here, and I say it too, if you're ever here in San Francisco, we'll show you around. And so this customer in Singapore said, hey, yeah, come on out. Next time you're in Singapore, I'll show you around. So about 2 months later, I said, hey, I just happened to be in Singapore. Show me around.
There you go.
And we're sitting in this open-air market eating who knows what, in the warm Singapore night with him, his wife, friend and girlfriend, and I was just sitting there. And I was just like, wow, look where I am. Look what this car passion has taken me.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those, it's just a dinner and nothing, really truly special. But it was one of the cooler times for me. It just summarized for me what the passion was, and meeting all these fun people worldwide. It's just really cool.
This is a reoccurring theme that I hear over and over again, and I think those of us in the car hobby, the passion of cars, and even the car business know it really is the people that we get to meet, the people we get to be around. I had Spike Ferriston, who's from TV's Car Matchmaker on.
What is show?
And he said, I work in the entertainment business, and not everybody in the entertainment business is really that kind and nice. But in the car business, everybody is nice. Everybody's friendly. So I think you hit on a chord there.
The other part of it is just there's the people that we met, but then also doing something that's a little bit different and cool. And we once did for Noel Lee. He's the president of Monster Cable, a very well-known Lamborghini owner. Just in the car world, very well-known guy. But he rides Segways everywhere. So they had us do two custom Segways to match his new, at the time, Murcielago and his Scuderia.
Wow. And
so we built these Segways, and he rode the Ferrari one out onto the stage at CES in Vegas, with like Lady Gaga and stuff. They were doing some announcement at the time. And literally, it really was like a TV show. The night before, we're trying to assemble the Segway. The parts aren't going together. We test fit in the shop, and now we get to Vegas, and it's not working. And literally, it's funny. We actually had to use the word of God to get this Segway to work, because there was a pin that wouldn't go through, and we didn't have any tools. And the only thing available was Lord, forgive us, the Gideon Bible in this Vegas, in the Paris hotel room.
Yep.
And we used that to drive that pin through. And the next day, next morning, sure enough, Noel's up there riding it on stage. And that project, not only was it cool, it brought together just our amazing talents from the team of being able to design something, come up with it, doing different things that no one had done before, and taking on a project that was just strange, you might say, and not really in our comfort zone. And despite the tight timeline, we delivered it, and it didn't break while Noel was on stage, and it was very cool. And Segways are neat to ride if you've never done it.
Yeah, they're fun.
We got to play around a bit. It was really neat. So those are really the highlights, I'd say.
Very cool. Let's have a little bit of fun here. What was your first really special car, and maybe you could share a memory you had with that vehicle?
I learned to drive on my father's 74 Alpha Spider. And I got to drive that around quite a bit. It was a beater. Paint was bad, and the interior wasn't that great. As many Alphas were prior to this run up in values lately. Unfortunately, I crashed it after getting a few tickets because there was a Corvair Monza Spider across from our high school on a used car lot. So I was daydreaming about selling this slow Alpha and getting this turbo. Actually, probably wasn't even turbo, but getting a Corvair Spider that would look cooler to me at the time. And sure enough, I wasn't paying attention. Slick road, ran right into a guy.
Oh no!
That was the Spider got put in the garage and was sold like 7 months later to somebody who fixed it. And I think that was the end of my driving career for like 3 years too. I couldn't afford insurance. So that was probably my first special.
Yeah, we learned those lessons. How about seller's remorse? Is there a vehicle you've owned that you sold you really wish was back in the garage?
I've got two. I sold back in 2010. I had my 308 QV for almost 15 years, and MAcarbon it didn't fit with what we were doing, and we needed a shop car. So I sold. I could not give the 308 away in 2010, and sold. I did all right from when I bought it, but I sold it for the high 20s, and I bought a Porsche 996 in the high 20s to use as our shop car. I sold the Porsche a couple weeks ago. Lost, not lost, but 4 years depreciated. 10K or so. And of course, that 308 right now is worth about 90. So
yeah, the 308s have finally started to take off. They just floundered for so long, a lot longer than you would have thought.
They really have. But they were great cars. And the thing I liked about it, I was ready to sell it. It was, I'd kind of done my thing, and but it was so beautiful, and it sat in the garage, and you come and you go to work and you just look at it and it's like, wow, there's a reason to go to work today is I've got my car. And
there you go.
Not that I have to, got the kids and the bills and all that, but at the end of the day, you got your car in the garage, and it's it's that little extra juice for doing something that day. So.
A little bit of fun. How about current projects? What are you working on right now that really has you excited and fired up?
Well, I sold that Porsche and have a few old Mercedes SLs that I'm working on, trying to get those, get those so that they're enjoyable. But from a company perspective, I got to say, I was as an IT guy, so I still have the juice for doing cool stuff and computer-wise, especially being here in the Bay Area with all the technology that's going on. One of our big projects has been making an interior configurator for our website that allows the customer to pick their car, pick all the components that they want. It prices it out. It checks availability against our website. It displays install guides, and that thing has been no one our size has it, and very few companies even larger have it. I think it's more functional than like Ferrari's configurator and stuff like that. So. But if you only have a few people, we're not that big, so getting time to do the graphics while taking care of everything else is difficult. But that one really has me excited, and you kind of think, hey, can it do more than just configure car interiors? So yeah, that's our current project that's really neat.
Very cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Now, here's a very introspective question for you, John. Okay. If you were, I know at the beginning you said, I'm not a very introspective guy, so I'm going to press you a little bit on this one. If you were a car, what kind of car would you be and why?
Yeah, as I said, I think introspective comes also with looking back a little bit. So I was trying to think what I would be, and I came up with, and this is definitely not very sexy, but I came up with that I'm an AMG Mercedes sedan.
Okay.
And the reason is first of all, I had a 16-valve Cosworth 190, which was really cool. I had a C36 AMG, and then currently the daily driver is an E55, early 2000s E55 with the supercharger and the 480 horsepower. So
cool.
Very cool, solid. not too flashy, but just fast and fun, and but not, I'm certainly not a Ferrari or a something like that.
There you go.
But the one thing I don't share with my my AMG is I'm fairly low maintenance, and all these Mercedes literally each out a house and home. It's crazy.
Yeah, so they're pricey to keep up. Well, that's good. A nice way to answer that. I like that. I love that question. It's a fun question here on Cars Yeah. And up next is the last lap. But before we put the pedal to the metal, let's say thank you to today's Cars Yeah sponsors. Have you turned your key and heard that dreaded tick, 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 tick because of a dead battery? No worries. I've got the Naoko Genius Boost Jump Starter. This compact tool fits in your glove box and features rechargeable lithium battery technology that will start a dead battery in your car, boat, truck, or RV. It packs a whopping 12-volt, 400-amp starting power and can start up to 20 dead batteries on a single charge. Plus, it has built-in spark-proof technology with reverse polarity protection to safely jumpstart your vehicle. The compact, ergonomically designed clamps are solid copper for maximum conductivity, and there's a built-in ultra-bright dual LED flashlight with 7 modes, including an SOS emergency strobe. It's easily rechargeable with a USB outlet, and you can charge your smartphone or tablet while you're on the road. Works on any 12-volt lead-acid battery. The Genius Boost from Naoko is the ultimate emergency tool that's safe and easy to use. Quality design, state-of-the-art technology from Naoko, your battery care source since 1914. Get yours at geniuschargers.com. Okay, John, we're back and we're entering the last lap. And this is where I'm going to fire off a series of questions and ask you to give our listeners some real quick blips of the throttle answers. So are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. What is the best automotive advice you've ever received?
My father always said, the hunt is more fun than the kill. And he was definitely a renowned tire kicker. And it's definitely great advice. I don't follow it. I tend to look at one car and buy it. So it's great advice, and I unfortunately don't follow it very well.
Yeah, I think your dad was a smart man.
He is.
He is, yeah. Would you share one of your personal habits that you believe has contributed to your success over the years?
Main thing, I think, is self-motivation. You're not going to survive in this kind of stuff if you're not the one that's getting yourself out of bed, getting to the office, shipping only that you're 100% happy with. It's all internal, and if you have to have somebody telling you that, it's in all of life, it's not going to work.
Yep. So. Tenacity, perseverance, self-motivation. Yep. I hear that from many of my entrepreneurial guests. Do you have a resource that you think our listeners would really enjoy?
Yeah, actually, I think it's just a small tip. Obviously, not everybody knows eBay and Google and all that, but if you put into Google site:/Craigslist.org and then whatever you want, that searches all of Craigslist, and you put in your rare collector car. It's a great way to get in trouble with your
Very nice insider tip. I like that.
It's use it at your own risk.
Yep, absolutely.
And don't be drinking wine at night and using that, because you will
get in trouble. Yeah, you'll buy what you didn't want to buy. You go back to listen to your dad. Kick those tires. Don't push that bid button on the keyboard.
Yes. Or don't lowball people on Craigslist, because they'll reject you, because guess what?
They might.
You'll wind up buying something.
Yeah. Be careful what you ask for. How about a book? I know there's a lot of great books out there, but is there one in particular you think the Cars Yeah listeners would enjoy?
I gotta admit, I read a lot of the English classic car magazines. I don't read much car books, and I'm going to sound a little geeky, and I weighed whether I should even say this. I like, there's a gentleman called James Rollins who writes some kind of they're science, CIA type stuff, and I don't know. It after a long day of cars, I like to read something that's easy reading and not related to what I'm doing. So that and watching a San Francisco Giants game. Those are two ways for me to relax.
There you go. Well, listeners, you can find links to all these great resources on John's show notes page at carsyeah.com/John Borchelt, and John's last name is Borchelt. All right, John, we're up to the checkered flag. And this last question can be a real doozy.
Yep.
If you could only have one collector car in your garage, but don't worry about the price because today I'm writing the check.
Okay.
What would that one vehicle be? And more importantly, why?
Okay. It would be a 1980 BMW M1 white with black interior. And
Ooh.
the reason for that is growing up in Santa Cruz, Bruce Canepa had his little business there in our downtown area. And I'm pretty sure, well, he'd be the only one, so I'm pretty sure it was his. Somebody had imported one, and you would see that running around town once in a while. And that corresponded with that Porsche drive I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just always liked them. I think they look great. And let's be frank with everybody, you know, we get these cars, we really don't have as much time to drive them as we'd like. The garage art aspect is important, and to me, it's when I grew up, and it's just a great looking car, and it's a BMW, so it should
should hold up quite well.
Should hold up probably better than my AMGs, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, it's a great choice, and Bruce has been a guest here on Cars Yeah. Certainly his cars, the cars that come out of his facility are top notch. So what I'll do is give Bruce a call and say, hey, we need an 80 M1 in white that I need you to find for me, and I'm sure he'll come up with something, and I'm going to have to write a really big golfer size check.
Yeah, I can trade him some old not very worth much SLs and Fiats. So.
Okay. Well, he's a wheeler dealer, so he likes playing with cars.
Might take it.
He might take it. Yeah, absolutely. John, you have taken me on a great ride today. I knew you would. I've really enjoyed talking with you. You're welcome, and I want to thank you for sharing your journey with the Cars Yeah listeners. Could you give us one parting piece of guidance before you drive off down the Coast Highway there in Santa Cruz in that 1980 BMW M1?
Sure. You know, as everybody, all of the Cars Yes guests have said, pursue your passion. I would definitely agree. You definitely need to think it through and have your business plan and realize you're gonna work a lot. So if you think you've got something, go for it, and make sure your wife's on board.
Absolutely. What's the best way for our listeners to learn more about you and your business, MAcarbon?
Sure. You can see us at MAcarbon.com. That's MAcarbon.com. And or you can call us here at the shop, 650-489-4415. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, all those various platforms, as well as we sponsor Ferrari Chat, 6Speed. A lot of different forums. So cool. Definitely give us a call. We'd be happy to talk to you, cars, carbon, or anything else.
Absolutely. Listeners, again, you could find links to everything on John's show notes page at carsyeah.com. Just put John in the search box. His show notes page will pop up. And I would encourage you to check out the products. I've gotten the joy of holding them in my hands. I got to see these things. They are absolutely spectacular. I think you're going to find the same thing. John, thanks again for being so generous today with your time. You're welcome, and your expertise, and for sharing your experiences with me and the listeners. Until we talk again, I'll see you down the road.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate the time, and thank you for any listeners who take the time to listen to our interview. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. The pleasure was all mine.
Thank you so much for joining us on today's ride here at Cars Yeah. Drive on over to carsyeah.com to find show notes and inspiring automotive fun. Download your free copy of Filler Up, a fun book filled with gorgeous photographs of fuel filler fun, including quotes from more inspiring automotive enthusiasts. Download your copy today, and we'll see you next time on Cars Yeah.